Hi, this is MaryEllen with Portraits of Me, and today I want to share a video with you about 6 people I want to meet in 2020. Hi, thanks for joining me in this video. I am so excited to share with you some books that I'm planning to read in 2020. Now, I've been really wanting to read some more biographies and autobiographies because I don't read as many as I used to, and I've always enjoyed reading true stories about people that I admire because, for one, you can learn something from them and from their stories that you can implement into your own life. If it's being kinder to people, if it's having stronger faith in your relationship with Jesus, or if it's just going through a trial and how you overcome that trial, you can always pull something out of their story because it's people like you and me that are sharing that story. And so my goal for this year in 2020 is to read more autobiographies and biographies. So I have a list of 6 of them that I want to share with you in this video. So for those of you who know me and my husband, you will know that my husband is a huge Walt Disney fan. He loves Disneyland, he loves the cartoons, he loves the movies that the Disney Corporation has put out over the years. But he is actually a really big fan of Walt Disney himself, with his creativity and his imagination and his motivation to continue with cartoons, amusement parks, movies, and just the inspiration that Walt Disney and his life represents has inspired my husband. And so, being married to my husband, I kind of have jumped onto that bandwagon of being a Walt Disney fan as well. I've always enjoyed the original animated Disney cartoons like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, which Donald is my favorite. And I like the more recent stuff, which isn't actually recent now, but was recent when I was growing up, like Disney Afternoon and DuckTales and Darkwing Duck. Some more of my favorite duck kind of cartoons. I think I have a thing for ducks because I love Darkwing Duck, I love Donald Duck, and yeah, I love Daffy Duck too, although he's not Disney. Anyway, all that to say, I'm a big Disney fan as well. And so this year I want to read this book right here. It is the Walt Disney book to talk about the life of Walt Disney. I've heard so many good things about this book on Goodreads. I've read a few of the reviews from Goodreads readers because I wanted to find a biography that really encompassed all of Walt Disney, not just his creative side, but his family life and all that motivated him to be who he was back from his childhood to his adulthood. And then this one had good ratings, so I picked it out. So I'm really looking forward to meeting Walt Disney in 2020. Another book that I've had on my shelves for quite some time, I think I have the receipt in this book, so let me tell you when I purchased it. I purchased this book back in 2009. Wow, that's a long time ago. And I haven't read it yet. So this is the year to read it. And that book is this book right here. It is Schulz and Peanuts, a biography. I love the Peanuts comics, and I love Charlie Brown and Snoopy. And so I want to learn more about the man behind that famous Charlie Brown. So this is another book I want to read in 2020. So those are 2 books that I want to read that are from very imaginative creators. This book that I want to read is by, or not by because he didn't write this, but is about an actor, a well-respected actor, and that is this book right here. It is Robin. And I am really looking forward to reading this because I am a huge Robin Williams fan and of his movies. I watched some of his movies and really liked them. I don't know much about him, like on a personal level, never really followed news streams about his life or his even his career. Mostly just watched movies, enjoyed his acting. So I'm looking forward to getting to know him a little bit more and his struggle with depression, which is probably a key factor in this book as well. So I want to read this book in 2020 and meet Robin Williams on a more personal level. So now we went from creative people to actor. Now we're going to music. Now this autobiography isn't about the actual musician. It's his wife telling her story. And that book is this one right here. It is Mary Beth Chapman. So this book is about Mary Beth, who is the wife of Stephen Curtis Chapman, who is a well-renowned Christian musician. And this is a story of her and how she dealt with life's hardship. She was diagnosed with like depression in her early years. It's about her struggle in her marriage, going through all those emotions. It's about being married to someone who is artistic and so doesn't really keep to schedules, and she's a really schedule driven individual. So it's her struggle dealing with that, but also it's her story about the death of her 5-year-old adopted daughter who was ran over by one of her teenage sons. So it's dealing with that tragic event in her life and how she dealt with it with her husband and with the community that she lived around. Now, since this is a Christian book, there's going to be a lot of encouraging scripture in the book, as well as leaning on Christ and his strength during this uncertain time that she was going through with her husband and dealing with the death of their daughter. I've actually started this book and I am almost finished with it, and I'm really enjoying the writing of Mary Beth Chapman. So I'll talk about more about this in my wrap-up when I talk about all these biographies and autobiographies that I'm reading for 2020. Okay, I have 2 more people that I want to meet in 2020. And when I was making this list, I knew I wanted to put a Star Trek actor on this list because I'm a huge Star Trek fan. And I was thinking of doing James Doohan because I've read a biography about Kirk already. I read Leonard Nimoy's, I read DeForest Kelley's, but I didn't read his. And so I thought I had it, but when I looked on my shelves, I didn't see it. So instead, I picked a different TOS, the original series, Star Trek actor, and that is this one right here. This is Walter Koenig, and it is Warped Factors. And I am looking forward to reading about him and his role as Chekhov and his life in general. And I actually saw this actor in Thousand Oaks. He was playing Scrooge, and I had like, was it like the second row from the front seating? So he was like right there, because I don't know if you've been to Thousand Oaks Auditorium, but the rows are real close to the stage. And it was funny because he was playing Scrooge, and towards the end of the play, when Scrooge wakes up and he realizes it's Christmas and he has a second chance, Walter Koenig as Scrooge jumps out of bed and like twirls around and does this dance around like the bedpost. And it was funny because as he twirled jumping off the bed, I could see under his nightgown. And I told my husband, "Oh, I just saw Walter Koenig's underwear." It was pretty funny, but it was so cool to see him playing in a different role than his well-renowned Chekhov role on Star Trek. So looking forward to reading this book and learning more about him and his career. And then my last book I want to read this year in 2020, which I probably want to read in the beginning of the year though, is from another Star Trek actress. And the reason why I want to read this book, although I read it before when it was first published, I want to do a reread because I'm actually going to be meeting her in May, and that is Nichelle Nichols. So this is Beyond Uhura, Star Trek and Other Memories. And so she is actually doing a retirement, what is it called? Like a farewell to public appearances. And she's putting on a small convention in Burbank. I think it's Burbank. It's close to where I live, so I can actually go there. And so I'm going to be seeing her in May during this farewell event that she is hosting. The event is Saturday and Sunday, and she is putting on a luncheon, which I'm so excited for. Plus we get to meet her. She's having other Star Trek actors and friends be a part of this farewell, and so I'm looking forward to going with my husband. And so I want to refresh myself on her life and career, so I'm going to be reading this book, although it doesn't probably, I think this was published in the 90s, so anything after the early 90s I won't know. 1994 this was published, so anything, you know, end of 90s and 2000s, all that stuff, I won't be refreshed on. That I have to use the internet for. But I'm going to read this and take this book with me when I go, because we do get to meet her and get something signed by her. So this is another book that I want to read in 2020, and I want to meet Nichelle Nichols in her own words. Okay, that's it. That's my video. 6 people I want to meet by reading their biographies, and I am looking forward to meeting every one of them. And as you saw, some of them are pretty thick, so I've only picked 6 for the year, although if I get through these, I do want to read some more, and if I do read some more biographies, then I'll share that video with you as well. How about you? Who do you want to meet in 2020? I'd love to hear your answer in the comment box below. Have you read any of these books? I would like to hear that too. I'd love to know what you think about them. And as always, you guys, I appreciate you for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. And may you have a great morning, day, evening, or night. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!